Greetings comrades, this is General Phoenix doing an official deck profile. This deck, as you can see on the thumbnail, is a Gallantmon / Digimon deck. The reason I'm saying Gallant and Duke is because the Japanese name is Duke, but English it's Gallant. Now, to clarify how the deck will go, we will start with the Tamers, then we will go from levels up, 3 to 6 to 7, and then we go to the options, and then we'll go to the Tamers, or vice versa. Because I always build them differently. I always do the order sometimes slightly different. And then what we'll do is, I'll show a presentation of how you would do the builds and how you could get a rough idea of how to do this deck. Now to start off, the Gallantmon is a tier 1 deck so far. This deck is basically tournament ready. It's won tournaments as well. So this kind of build, the cards are a bit pricey, but I've been building this for a while. And when the newer cards came out, I got them straight away because I have the money and resources to do it. So, let's start. First, we have 4 Gigamons. When attacking, once per turn, if this Digimon has Gallantmon, Growlmon, or Gallantmon in its name, draw 1 card from your deck. So, basically, if you want to attack with any of your Digimon with these names, you get to draw the card straight away. Then you've got 4 copies of your first Gallantmon. This, I always say, is a really good one to keep. This is like a primary one because this is your deck searcher. So, on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name and 1 Takato Matsuki. That's your Tamer. Among them to the hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. It's digievolution effect. When digivolving, once per turn, if this Digimon has Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 or less DP. So let's say you've got a certain build where if it attacks it deletes, or you have it on deletion effect and it does everything else, that immediately you can still delete. There are other builds you can do where you don't have to always rely on that, but it's good to have it on. Next we've got 2 copies of a second Gallantmon. This one's effect, on play, reveal the top 4 cards in your deck, add all Takato Matsukis among them to the hand, then place the rest of the cards at the bottom of your deck. So basically, if you were to get 2 of them, you get the 2. If you got the 3, you got the 3. If you got 1, you get the 1, and the rest go back to your deck. And this turn, it's digievolution effect. Your turn, with this if this Digimon has Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, it gets 2000 DP. This can be useful. Or if you get up to a certain level, this can be really useful. I put 2 in mainly because it's just the build I do and I mostly rely on the deck searcher. But this one is definitely one. You don't need a lot of them, but it's good to have at least 2 of them in. Some people use 3, but I prefer 2 for that even number. This Gallantmon's first prime effect. Your turn, if your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon in play, this Digimon can digivolve into a Gallantmon in your hand for the memory cost of 4, ignoring its requirements. So basically, if my opponent's got a level 6 on, or higher, such as 7, I can immediately get my level 6 out. And I can literally have a lot, and you can do a whole build-up then for other things. You can't digivolve obviously on top unless you've got the level 7 or the X antibody, but it still gives you room so you can build up your other things. And if you need a Gallantmon already on the field to play other effects and the options of the Tamers, you've immediately got that. This one is one of the newer ones, and I definitely say it's good to have this, is the Gallantmon X Antibody. Its main effect, just to let you know, I'm going to bring it in a bit closer, its digievolution cost would normally be 1 for level 2s, but if you've got the Digimon or the Gallantmon, it's 0. So that means it costs 0 with this as well. So that can really help out. On play, or when digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards in your deck, add 1 card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name to your end, 1x antibody among them to the hand. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck. This can be really useful. Once per turn, its inheritance effects. Your turn, once per turn, when any of your opponent's Digimon are deleted, gain a memory. This is where and I'm going to show you when you get to level 4s, where you're going to focus on delete, gain memory. I've gotten up from 0 to 6 memory in 1 turn with this deck, And I've literally built it up where if I managed to do another rail off for a tournament match, I'd have gotten a level that I'd have gotten up to 10 straight away. Your first Gallantmon is its inheritance. Your turn, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain a memory. And this is where, again, this is where you're going to see this coming in. Our second Gallantmon, when digivolving, if you don't have a Takato Matsuki in play, you can play one from your hand without the memory cost. So let's say you play it, don't have one in, you've got it. And that really helps out. Your turn, while this Digimon has Gallantmon or Gallantmon in its name, it gets 2000 EP, which can be really handy for if you need to build up stuff. And next you've got your 4 copies of your Gallantmon X Antibody. Again, this is one of the newer cards as well. And for Gallantmon, the cost will be 0. Now, when digivolving, draw 1 card and trash 1 card from your hand. Then, if Gallantmon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's digievolution cards, until the end of your turn, this Digimon gains on deletion. Meaning, when it's deleted, you may play 1 card with Gallantmon in its name from your trash without paying the cost. That can be really helpful. I've not used it yet, I've not needed to, because I've always been able to do the build-up, but it's there. So, and its inheritance effect, once per turn, your turn, when any of your opponent's Digimon deleted, gain 1 memory. And this will be your level 5s. This is your War Gallantmon. I like to primarily use this one because it's the one I use. It's just the one that's always been helpful against tournament matches to take down security a lot faster. So, when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 or less TP. If this effect didn't delete, this gains additional security attack for the turn. Now, all turns, so this is inheritance effects once per turn. When an effect deletes an opponent's Digimon, you may unsuspend this Digimon with Gallantmon in its name. This can be really handy for just hitting security again and again and again. That's how, and I've used that for this. I've used it to whack down security and then make it attack security again. Next, you've got 2 copies of my second Gallantmon. When digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 or less DP. If no opponent's Digimon was deleted by this effect, you may digivolve this Digimon into a level 6 Digimon with Gallantmon in its name in your hand for the digievolution cost. When this Digimon would digivolve by this effect, reduce the cost by 2. So let's say you have to play one that's the cost of 4 normally, that's reduced to 3, or the cost of 3 reduced to 2, which can be it can be handy if you want to save memory to play other stuff. But this one I've always found to be the very reliable one when I'm doing the build-up, for this reason. Its cost is only 1 to summon if you use War Gallantmon. When digivolving, until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon can't be returned to the hand or decks and gets 3000 plus DP. Then, if War Gallantmon or X Antibody it is in this Digimon's digievolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 10,000 or less. That right there could take down a lot of level 5s and lowers, which could really help you. And imagine that then, you take down a level 5 they're trying to build to a level 6, that they've just not been able to, and then you gain all the memory from the 4s, and you could get something else from the level 3, such as the X Antibody. Immediately there, you're looking at already getting a build-up. And its inheritance effect is security attack +1. So, this Digimon checks 1 additional security. That's where you can really rely on that. And now we're up to our signature, Gallantmon / Dukemon. I like to use 4 of these because these are the primary ones that while I have other Gallantmons, which I have 2 copies of the other one, this is the one that I've personally gone to use the most of because it's just the one that's always been able to help me out. So, its effects. When digivolving or when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8000 or less DP. If this effect didn't delete, this Digimon gains 3000 plus DP and gains a blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. Your turn, while you have 0 or less memory, this Digimon isn't affected by your opponent's effects. So that can be really helpful, that. If your opponent tries to use any effects to try and stop it or destroy it. And next you've got, this was the primary one I used actually before I switched to this one, but I found this one was the most reliable one for me. But this can be good, so it's nice to keep at least 2 copies, I think. So your turn, this Digimon gets 2000 plus DP. Your turn, while you have a red tamer in play, add 2000 DP, 2000 to the maximum DP. You can choose with DP based deletion effect. So basically, such as, and I'm going to show you quickly, if let's say we had this effect for the level for a War Gallantmon, or let's say let me get out War Gallantmon. Let's say it was to delete that, and which it has, it gains the 2000 more. To give you an idea, but it only works for this one. Because when attacking, choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose total's DP is 2006 or less and delete them. So that would allow me to switch it from 6000 to 8000, which can be really handy against level 5s and lowers. But again, I rarely use this effect, mainly because I never got the chance to use it against opponents. But this is where my opponents really hate my deck, because I managed to get this out. But lately, the new Reapermon can actually neutralise this. And I actually have a Necromon deck as well. I'll do a deck profile on that when it's fully complete. So, when Digivolving a level 6 Gallantmon in its name, the cost is 4. And this is its effects, by the way. A hand counter blast Digivolve. One of your Digimon may Digivolve into this card without paying the cost. So for those who don't know, if my opponent attacks, regardless, after all their effects are resolved, I can immediately Digivolve from this to that straight away. Which can be really helpful if your opponent's not using Reapermon or any effects that stop blast Digivolves. And this is Crimson Mode Ace. So it's on playing and when Digivolving effects are, delete up to 15,000 DP total worth of your opponent's Digimon. So you could take out 2, 3, 4, 5 up to Digimon. It doesn't matter if they can be deleted, you can delete them. And when attacking, once per turn, for every 10 cards in both players' trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. And I've used this against a purple deck that relied on trashing cards. I took down 4 of their security cards and used this for an attack. And then I used a Gallantmon to wipe out the security. Because my opponent said, why aren't I attacking? I just keep blocking and I keep deleting up to them. And that's when my opponent realised I was just making sure they were trashing cards so then I could play. So then when they attacked, I could use Crimson. And I was actually down to at least 1 security. Because that's when I knew what his deck was doing. I just had to build up. So now we're up to Tamers. And here he is. Takato Matsuka. This is the primary one that I like to use for this deck for all of its effects. So Tamer number 1's effects are: your turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, you may suspend this Tamer to gain a memory. Your turn, when one of your Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon with Gallantmon or Growlmon in its name, that Digimon gains when Digivolve Blitz. This Digimon can attack when your opponent has one or more memory for the turn, so that can be really helpful. And its effects are, for Inheritance, is just security. When this is flipped up on security, you play the card without paying the cost. Now your second one is just your memory gainer. So start a turn, if you have 2 or less memory, set your memory to 3. Its main effect, and once per turn, by placing this Tamer and 1 Growlmon, War Growlmon, from your trash in any order as the bottom Digievolution cards on a Gallantmon, that Digimon may Digivolve into a Gallantmon from your hand for the cost, ignoring its level. The Digimon Digivolved by this effect also gains 2000 plus DP for that turn, And obviously its effect will be just playing on the field when it's in security. So right there, you could actually get a guild if you've got all your cards lost and you haven't got the level 6 build, or you don't want to pay the cost of 4, and you want to just summon out the level 3, you've got that build straight away. It's just not going to be as big as what you can really do with it. Now this is our last tamer. Start of your turn. If you have a Digimon with Gallantmon, Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, gain a memory. This is proven to be quite useful when I do memory builds. End of your turn, by placing one tamer and one Growlmon and one Growlmon from your trash as one of your Gallantmon's bottom digievolution cards, that Digimon may digivolve into Gallantmon. And this is actually without the memory cost, which can be really, really useful. So basically, you've got 2 cards that do almost the same thing. Only that sets you to 3, that gives you a memory, that makes you pay the cost but gives you 2,000, and this doesn't pay the cost, which can be really... And so you've got your debates on what you'd want to do. If you want to do memory sets and this, it's why I like to do a balance of the 2, because then you've got that range of what methods you can do. So I'm just double checking. Yep. Just want to double check I read it right, my apologies. But right there you can see, so you've got all 3 of those tamers out, you can do a good build up. You could set yourself up to 4 memory, do all the deletions, and you could probably set yourself to 10 straight off if you get all the requirements and builds up, and just play out more cards. This is where this deck can really give you an edge on memory. Now we're up to options. First options, Gaia Force. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Activate the main on security, activate this card's main effect. You don't really need these in, but I've actually proven to need these for security when they're in. And you will not believe how many times this has saved my backside on security. Then you've got 2 red memory boosts. You only need 2 because, again, you're using these Digimon to gain your memory. You don't really need this. But it's a good card to have. You can have 1 or 2 in. I only have 2 in just for convenience sake for extra search. So its main effect is reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 red Digimon card among them to the hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Then place this card in your battle area. Main effect, so this is when after you've played it and it's your turn again. Trash this card in your battle area to activate this effect below. You can't activate this effect the turn it was placed. So again, I play it, get the card I want, that stays. Next turn starts, I can use that effect. Trash this card, and it is to trash this card to gain 2 memory. And its main effect is to place it in the battle area so you don't do the search. So you don't do the searching. So let's say I have 2 of these out. Trash them both, get 4 memory straight away. So let's say I've got my 2 tamers there. Set it to 3, I gain the 1. Trash these 2, I'm up to 8 straight away. And then lastly, you've got 1 Crimson Saviour. Main effect is, you may play 1 Gallantmon or Take Mazuka from your hand or trash without paying the cost. Then, place this card in your battle area. All turns, when one of your opponent's level 5 or higher Digimon is played, delay. One of your Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon card with Gallantmon in its name in the hand without paying the cost. So for instance, this means when a card is played, so such as an effect that plays it, I can immediately summon a Gallantmon, and let's say it is the Digivolve one, such as, let me get it out when I get to it, such as this one, I could delete that if it's got 8,000 or less DP. So straight away, you're going to see the build-up you're going to do. You can see the range you can do with it. It is based on deletion. There are loopholes around this deck. My mates have used it. I've used those weaknesses against me. But even they've said, like, Leon, you've got a really competitive deck. Like, we only managed to get you in some matches because we know how it's built. We've helped, like, because they helped me build it. My mates are a bit more experienced in the game than I am. I am good. For me, it's just mainly I have to just study how the builds work and which steps to play cards, like with Necromon. I'm still learning that deck. But this is my primary deck I like to use. And I'm already looking at when I get the chance to update this. I've got my Tartamon deck. I've heard it's getting supports now. So I'm definitely going to be updating that when I get the chance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little clip after this. And I'm going to show you like some builds you can do if you get the chance. So let's say if your opponent plays certain things, this is what you can do. So I'll be back in just a sec. Right, so I'm just going to do this quick build. I've literally just got my dice out just so I can do it. So my dice is here. So let's say you've got the standard make of how any deck work, any build start turn works. So what most people do is they do an on-play to get the card searches out. So let's say our opponent sets us to 3 straight away. Like, where are my cards in my hand? And let's say we've got these 5 cards to start with as an example. So you've got a good build here. And I'm going to use these 2 as an example. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got 3 memory. What are you going to do? For me, I keep my deck searcher here. I'll build up to 0. I draw my card. I'll do my search again. Again, that's another 0. Draw my card again. Another deck searcher. Draw 2. Draw my card. I got another one here. Draw a card. Like, seriously. And you've already got a decent build there. So I've got a memory gain. I've got another memory gain. I've got the 2000 DP. And when I get up to level 5, if I can get up to that next turn, I've got that. So what I'll do next is do my soul searching. So my opponent's only got 3. Which lets me search the top 4 cards. And let's say if I want something, I can only get the tamer out. And then the rest of that will go back to the bottom of the deck. I've not put a security card out, just again, this is a demonstration. It's my opponent's turn. So let's say, for this turn, I get set to 1. So my turn starts, I draw my card. This gets played on the field. And then what I do is, I play this for 2. Its effect, my opponent has a 4, let's say a 6000 or lower DP. This effect activates, it deletes it. So I gain 1, 2, 3 memory back. So I've not wasted any, I've basically just saved up a ton of memory there. And let's say I wanted to end the turn by either attacking with this, because it's got 9000 DP, and I can draw a card if I wanted to do that. So let's say we did that, 9000 DP at my opponent. I get the effect, I draw a card. It survives the attack. I've then got the option of what else I can do. And then you look at your cards you've got. One of your best things to do is, and again, we do this with Digimon, you've got to try and keep your memory low, at least under 3. Because 3, you've got that range to do stuff. But you can see an idea of what you can do though, like, because immediately if you can get a build up like this. And I've had opponents that have like gone all mad and stuff, like one of the newest people, like, how the heck is he getting all these cards out in just 1 turn? He only has 3 memory. And my mate, who's like the expert in the game, even says, that's what Dukes do. This is what the new Duke mechanic does. He can just keep gaining all his memory. I've done a build where I've actually gone up to 3 cards, so 2 War Gallantmons and a Duke out on the field. Imagine that though, with all that memory build up. And again, I had to pay 3 to summon out that War Gallantmon, got to 6 straight away. And I literally had one of them that I didn't delete, so I had the secure. And so I don't get that security attack. That one doesn't. But I've got 3 monsters and I've got unsuspend on that Digimon as well. And then I've got the option, if I want to play Crimson, that's going to cost me 4. And that's nothing. Because I've got all that memory spare, and then I can set my opponent to 1 if they don't have the memory setter tamer. So you can see here with this deck, you've got that big range of cards you can do. You've got that, you've got the idea of, wow, you can actually gain a lot of memory. Though my ratio for cards is a little off, this still competes competitively. My mates all look at it like, because we do like the set builds of how many rookies, how many champions, how many like level 5, 6s and options you should have. Mine's a little off, but even my mates have like said the fact that you have all this, it's off ratio, but you're still like, you're putting us on our knees and you're putting us like sweating bullets and stuff. And my mates, And it's fun. Like I don't win a lot. I won't deny that. I don't win a lot, but I do get up to like second place. But I get close to second to fourth to fifth place because there's usually about 8 to 10 of us who play. So you see the idea. Like I'm on a good radius. That's mainly because I get draws most of the time with some of my opponents. It solely depends on luck on what cards you get. So comment down below what you think of this deck. Would you build it? What decks would you change? And the main thing I look at with decks is availability and cost. This cost me a fair bit. But again, I had the money to pay it. Like my Necromon that I've got so far until I get the official cards. So I've had to look for replacements. That cost me about 40 quid. But I had the money spare and I wanted to build that deck. Because I wanted... This is basically a red and purple deck, but I wanted a base purple deck. Just for fun. Like, I've already got Titanmon for that. But I didn't know... But I only just found out that we're getting more support. We might be getting more supports for it. Which I'm like, oh, for goodness sake. That means I have to buy all the supports now. And I've got the money for it. So leave your comments down below. Let me know. And until then, this is going to be General Phoenix signing off.